If Q made an air conditioner for James Bond, it would be one of these, a mini split system. It's supposed to be 95 degrees today here in Michigan, and right now the humidity is over 85%, so it's a really sticky, super bright, hot day. But my house is nice and cool right now because of our new mini split system. This is a Fujitsu mini split. We have a house that doesn't have any ductwork because we have a boiler. So we have these baseboard convectors around the room. So if your house doesn't have ductwork and you're looking for air conditioning, you maybe thought your only option was to put in a window shaker air conditioner. Well, those are very inefficient, they're very noisy, and they're problematic to install. We have bypass sliding windows, so a window air conditioner doesn't really fit in too well. We could also put a sleeve through the wall and mount one directly into the wall, but then we'd have to have a 20 amp or a 220 electrical outlet installed, and we'd have to cut a huge hole in the wall. With a little mini split system like this, all the hole in the wall is about 2.5 to 3 inches that goes right through, that has the lines to it. We'll go outside in a minute and I'll show you the compressor, but right now I want to tell you something about this thing. And while we're talking, I'm going to flip it on. It comes with a wireless remote control that we can turn on, and you'll see that it goes through a little procedure where it lifts the cover up and will expose the registers and its intake and all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the things that's nice about this is that it's super duper quiet. You'll hear when it comes on that you can't hardly hear anything running at all. And even the outside compressor is super quiet. So even if you have it right below a window and you're worried about being able to sleep at night because you can hear this compressor running, you won't be able to hear it at all. Now, one of the beautiful things about this is that it actually doesn't use any ductwork. So this is an air conditioner that will do the whole house without using ducts. Okay, and I can feel the air has just come on right now and it's blowing on me. Perhaps there's a little bit of wind on the microphone that you can hear. But that's it. It's super quiet. You probably can't hear anything besides maybe a little bit of wind on the microphone. Let me turn it off so that we can finish making the video. Now, I mentioned that this thing doesn't use any ductwork at all. It has a powerful enough fan that it blows the air throughout the house, and it also has a louver that will swing up and down so that it moves the air in the house very efficiently. One of the problems with a lot of houses that add an air conditioner after the fact is that the ductwork has to go somewhere, and maybe it's going to go through a crawl space or through an attic or another unconditioned area, maybe behind the knee walls in an attic where it's going to leak and it's going to get hot and you have to insulate it. Nuts to all that stuff. A system like this that doesn't use any ductwork means that there's no ductwork to leak, and there's no holes that you have to cut in the floors and the ceilings and everything to install it. So a system like this is ideal even if you have air conditioning in your house already. If you have central air and a duct system, but the ducts are located somewhere where they're leaking like crazy, maybe your air conditioner died and you need to replace it with a new one, instead of replacing it with the same thing, the same system that you already have that has already failed you and maybe didn't perform really well anyway, you can put a system like this in. Now, the energy tag, we've all seen these things come with refrigerators and appliances of every kind, washers and dryers. And there's a chart on here that shows the efficiency. It says the least efficient air conditioner, 10.9 SEER. And that would be like a window air conditioner. And the most efficient, 21. And you can see that this is 21.5. So it's literally off the chart. They actually make this air conditioner in a 25 SEER. So it's even more efficient. Now on the heating performance factor, a 12.0, which is amazing. We're not going to use it as much for heating, but we might use it during moderate weather. It'll actually heat the house even when the temperature outside drops to 0 degrees. But it starts losing a lot of efficiency when it starts to get that cold outside. So maybe you don't have ductwork, maybe you already have ductwork, maybe you have a really small house, maybe you have a really big house. These things are scalable so that you can have one compressor outside that can run up to 3 of these units inside the house. Now, we had thought about putting one unit, this is in our living room, and then we thought about having another head unit all the way down in our master bedroom. but this one unit is actually big enough to cool the entire house. And we have about a 1,680 square foot ranch house, and it's very linear. So we can just have the bedroom door open at the end of the hallway, and the air conditioning just blows right down in the hallway. We also don't have to feel guilty about running it a little bit higher so that the living room gets really cold and the bedroom stays a little bit cool at the temperature that we want it at, because it's so efficient. So we don't have to worry about that. And one of the nice things is that the remote control acts as the thermostat. This has the sensor in it for the temperature. So the thermostat, you don't have to have mounted on the wall. You can take it with you into another room and set the temperature right on that thermostat, and it will maintain the temperature wherever this thermostat is. Okay, so let's turn this thing on and go outside and take a look at the compressor from the outside. And I'll show you how quiet it is. So now we're outside, and here's the compressor. The fan is moving very slowly because one of the things that this heat pump will do is modulate itself. So it doesn't run full blast all the time when it needs to. It only runs as hard as it needs to. That's one of the things that makes it so efficient. You see, with a typical air conditioner, and even most furnaces, they are only one stage, which means that they come on and they're going 100 miles an hour, and then they stop, and then they go 100 miles an hour and they stop. That's why you get temperature swings. But with a unit like this, it runs only as much as it needs to. It only works as hard as it needs to, so it will accelerate itself and blow harder when it needs to, but most of the time it will moderate itself and only run as much as need to conserve a lot of electricity. Remember, one of the things that I said about this system is that it is scalable. So this one compressor could run up to 3 different head units inside the house. You could also add multiple compressors for different areas of the house. Now you can see too that ours is mounted on a shelf, not on the ground, because the ground slopes a lot at this side of the house, and I didn't want to deal with having a little slab or a pad that was going to slope down. We are on the west side of the house, so it does have a little bit of sun coming on it right now, but it's so close to the house, and as soon as the sun gets over here a few more minutes, it's going to be behind the trees, so it's not really an issue. But if you have the choice, put it in the shade maybe on the north side of your house. But the north side of our house is the road side, and we didn't want to have an air conditioning compressor sitting right out in the front yard. So try to put it in the shade, and at least try to keep the coils and things in the shade. You could also erect a little fence and maybe plant some plants around it. You want to be able to access the thing to be able to clean it once in a while, but you don't want it to be right out in the sun. Another thing to notice about this outside unit is that they have the line set concealed behind a plastic cover, so it actually looks just like a downspout. And that just goes up about 16 feet to the inside unit through a hole in the wall. And there is a little drip line that has to come out of this so that it can drain water, and I actually have it draining right here into this downspout. Wow, it was hot out there. I'm glad I'm hanging out inside in the air conditioning today. You know, if you've got any questions about these mini split systems, put them down in the comment section and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. I'll also put a link to the company, to the Fujitsu website, so you can get some technical details on this one. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Even though I've got a lot of videos about a lot of different subjects, I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on home performance issues, because that's what I do for a living. I'm a home performance professional doing energy audits and energy ratings on homes. So if you have any questions about other home performance things, or there are some things that you'd like to learn about, please put them down in the comments section. I pay attention to the comments every day. I check them, and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Someday maybe I'll have a viral video that'll get like 1 billion views, and I won't be able to answer all the comments and suggestions there. But for right now, I only get maybe 1 or 2 comments a week, so I can be sure to get back with you. It feels good blowing on my bald head.